I literally, actually, I didn't even finish it. I watched Civil War today. I'd never watched that one, the Captain America.
Oh,
Oh,
what were your
really?
initial thoughts of that one?
Oh
Because
my
that
goodness,
Jamie,
that's
that's
one
your
of my
favorite, isn't
favorite
it?
MCUs.
Oh,
Yeah, that was really good. That was a
Yeah.
really good film.
Are you a Team Iron Man or Team Cap?
Oh man, that's tough.
I
Um,
know.
I feel as I've rewatched a lot of these, I have really fallen in love with Cap as just a character overall.
Oh, this
So
this
I
is
don't know.
great because
This
I'm
one's I'm
I'm
kind of not on his side here though. Like he's kind of letting emotions take
ooh,
over instead of factual, like the facts at hand, right?
Oh, yes, let's save it. I'm Team Iron Man 100%. Okay.
No, I can see your side. I can see Team Iron Man here.
I was gonna stir it up and ask, like, so is
Womp,
this a Captain America movie or is this an Avengers movie?
I think it's technically
right?
a Captain
It's a
America
Captain America.
movie,
But it
but
probably should be an Avengers movie, just from
right,
what I'm seeing. I haven't watched it yet.
right. Yeah, my thing
The
with Civil War is, and why I'm so pro Team Iron Man among other reasons, is mostly the Bucky Barnes factor. I can't think of a character I hate more in the Avengers universe than Bucky Barnes, because this guy is an incepted human robotic weapon from Russia. And not once, and he's aware of this, by the way. He's aware of how
mm-hmm,
lethal and
mm-hmm.
dangerous he is. And not once does he say, you know what, CIA, FBI, like, here I am. I need some therapy. Come get me. Not once. Can't stand
Well, I mean,
Bucky.
but hold on. The plot line of this is that he got woken up in
Mentally distressed.
1991.
Yeah.
So the last time he was
Like,
unfrozen was 91 to go, which is when he murdered, like, sorry, spoilers, but is when he murdered Tony's parents, was in 91,
Okay. Yeah.
right? So
Refresh
like,
my timeline,
so
Casey. It's been a
yep,
while since I've
that's
seen
as
this
much
one.
as I can't even recall after even watching it just now how exactly it's in the Winter Soldier, right? How he actually, like, when the most recent time he gets unfrozen. But I'm pretty sure up until the Winter Soldier, he's still under control of, like, the Hydra dudes. It's not until, like, Hydra goes away that he's not under control. So I don't
That's
think he has an opportunity to, like, go turn himself in.
that's true. But
It's
but
not
he
until
has
Captain America is the first one to snap him out of it in the Winter Soldier.
right. Well, then Captain America's irresponsible for not bringing him in. Like,
I don't
well,
remember how that one ended.
but I think that's what Tony's trying to say is Cap is being irresponsible about all of it.
Oh,
right,
for
right,
sure.
which
Yeah, I
is
think that's why
yeah,
I lean Team Iron Man. I think I agree with you there.
same. Yeah, that's exactly why I'm Team Iron Man.
My wife she hates Cap with the passion. She thinks he's the worst. And like only after we watched all the MCU movies, like in our order that we did it in, was she like, okay, he's growing on me a little bit, but he's still the
Mm-hmm.
worst Avenger. And I laugh all the time because I'm like, man, I feel like so many people want to fight you in that, but it's nice to see you guys think that, well, at least in Civil War, Iron Man is coming out on top.
It's kind of funny because I just started watching the MCU, um, and my thoughts and feelings on Captain America have kind of changed a little bit from what I've seen so far. Because I went from like having like zero interest in that character, um, to kind of growing on me.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of
Mm-hmm.
my interest in that character more kind of lies with like kind of lies in this like old VHS tape I had of like two super old Captain America cartoons that had like the Red Skull in them too, and I really like the Red Skull character. But yeah, Cap has grown on me so far, and I just started what's it, Winter Soldier. So Cap 2, so I'm about 30%, 35% into that one. So,
Yeah,
and
that's my favorite
I'm actually
Captain
liking that
America.
one so far. Yeah, there's some cool twists in there that I didn't see coming with like characters. So, I'm really
Yeah,
liking the story so far.
Winter Soldier. I remember when I left
And
the theater on that one. Go for it, Chad.
yeah, no, keep on going. I thought we were done with Cap. When we're done with
I
Cap,
just.
I
Oh well, yeah, we can be done with Cap after this. I was just gonna say, I just remember leaving the theater thinking, like, I was like, I really enjoyed the movie, and I started to think if we put like a different action hero in the role of Captain, so like, and just was like, oh, this is James Bond instead of Captain America. Like that's all that movie really was. It was just like this action movie where we're trying to save the end of the world. Like, I guess that's all the Avenger movies, but um, but I'm like, I was just like, man, if you just replace Cap with James Bond or somebody else like that, like this movie still plays.
Welcome to Movie Time Machine, your retro movie review podcast where we take movies from the past and we live them in the present. This week's movie, not a movie at all. We're going to mash on the MCU, our opinions, best, worst, and our own vision of an MCU script. Oh, isn't everybody excited? I'm your Time Machine host.
Vision. I see what you did there.
You like that? You like that? I'm your Time Machine host, Chad. And let me introduce you to my Time Machine co-host. First, he's always living 1 year behind in the entertainment world. It's Casey.
Hey, have you guys seen this new Iron Man movie? Pretty cool.
And our living encyclopedia of movie knowledge, James.
My wife made a joke about, it was like, why can't Daredevil and Vision get along? I think that was the joke, because Daredevil's blind. All right, next.
Spoilers.
And finally, will he ever finish The Mandalorian?
No,
Jamie.
I have no faith in him.
I don't either. Hawkeye's my favorite Avenger. Don't at me.
All right. Typically, I would say before we get into our movie of the week, let's talk about what you guys have been doing since last time. But we already started our MCU conversation. We just got into a conversation about Cap. Let's dive in some more. The MCU has been kind of one of my favorites, like punching bags when it comes to
sure.
movies and film series. And now that I've actually have decided, is like, that's it. I'm going to go through. I'm going to start watching these. And I decided that I was going to watch them in the timeline order, which has been super convenient because on Disney Plus, they have that order laid out for you. So I'm currently
Clutch.
Yes, thank you, Disney Plus. So right now I am. Can I just run down the movies I've seen quick in the timeline order? Then I'll kind of let you guys know where I'm at. Then we'll go from there. So the timeline order, okay, starts with Captain America, the first Avenger. Then we go Captain Marvel, Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Thor. Then we have the Avengers film. Then Thor Dark World. Iron Man 3. Then Captain America, the Winter Soldier. That's where I'm at right now. So I'm about halfway through.
So in that timeline, they don't recognize the Ed Norton Hulk, the Incredible Hulk?
I don't think so, because it's not on Disney Plus.
I think
so I guess that's one movie
I'm
that
on,
I haven't.
I'm on Wikipedia, and I'm just looking at the grouping of the MCU films they consider in the Infinity Saga, which is obviously the Infinity Stone stuff. And they have the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk in there, which is strange.
I'm wondering
the
if
one-
the rights
what do you
to
do?
that one just must have not gone to Disney yet.
I think you're right, James, because the character, I can't think of the actor. He's in Civil War. He's the big government guy with the mustache.
Yeah, he's the general.
Yeah.
I don't know, Liv Tyler's dad.
Right.
In
Liv Tyler's
Hulk,
dad. Not Steven Tyler.
Steven Tyler?
Could you imagine? Steven Tyler.
Dude looks like a lady. And he's
No, I was
an
gonna go-
Avenger.
I was gonna say Bruce Willis. I thought you were talking Armageddon, and that was a Bruce Willis drop.
William Hurt, General Thunderbolt Ross. That's his name.
Yes, Ross. Yeah, see, he reprises his role. So yeah, I think Hulk is got to be a part of the MCU. I just don't think Disney owns it yet.
Oh, maybe that's it. It was produced by Kevin Feige as well, which, like everything, he was a producer on in the Infinity Saga. So I think it stands to say that it's part of it.
Yeah,
but I don't think I've seen that one.
I'm positive Iron Man and Hulk came out like a couple months apart from each other, and it was the start of the Marvel Studios film.
Yep, 08, yep.
Yeah, so like that was like they're I'm gonna break through. This doesn't work. We out.
Yeah, so I just looked that up quick. So this thing, I'm on cheatsheet.com. Just the first thing that popped. It was like why Marvel fans will never be able to watch The Incredible Hulk on Disney Plus, and it just sounds like it's just like a rights thing, and that Disney probably would never get the rights to that film. So unless they pay a lot of money.
Well, and that's the problem with a lot of this shit is the rights. Like the whole Spider-Man problem, that's still technically a problem because Sony owns Spider-Man still, doesn't it?
Yes, they
I'm
do.
pretty sure they own it, and they're like letting Marvel use it because it's awesome.
Like the fact that Disney bought Fox, like wasn't that all a part of like trying to get X-Men, Star Wars, like all sorts of stuff, like as a part of it? Or I guess Star Wars technically already went to Disney.
Well,
I
there
don't
were a
know.
lot of rumors that WandaVision was supposed to be the gateway to mutants, like the X-Men mutants, but clearly that, spoilers again. Do we have to even preface that? We're going to talk about a lot of shit that's out already. Chad, you haven't seen the final of the Infinity Saga, so that's going to get spoiled all to hell. But
I don't care.
yeah, there,
I've seen enough to like
sure.
whatever. So
But yeah, that was the whole rumor, was that WandaVision is supposed to unlock that, which I guess it still could, but it didn't directly.
you talking about
Yeah,
the unlock the whole X-Men stuff, or
Yeah,
yeah,
get like the mutant timeline in there, somehow splice that in. Because of what's his face, the dude playing Quicksilver,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Evan
whatever
Peters.
his name is.
I am curious that if like in the TV shows, like the TV shows are going to be the precursor into building up like what is it going to be, phase 6 at this point or whatever it is, phase 5, 6. Like let's just go with 5. If it's not phase 5, you can reach us on Twitter at Time Machine Movie. I have no idea, Chad. You can fix that later.
We're in 4 right now,
Are we?
I
But I mean,
believe.
so like I'm just kind of curious, like if you think like the rumor was that mutants are gonna get we're gonna be a part of WandaVision, like there's so much content coming out with the TV shows like in the next like year or two before we're gonna see any new movies. It always feels like. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we still haven't gotten the ScarJo movie yet, so whenever that's gonna happen now.
Yeah,
Um,
so the
That's
next
I got
series
May
starting too
7th.
is Winter Soldier, right? Not Winter
yeah,
Soldier.
yeah, but like
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah,
yeah, Falcon and the
that
Winter
starts
Soldier's
in a couple
next.
weeks.
So I mean, they could hint and bring in mutants in that way, where all of a sudden they start building their way into movie franchise in that way, with just all these subtle clues that are going to get everybody super excited about it. But I don't know, Marvel like taking X-Men jumping into the MCU is going to be interesting, or I'm excited to see what they do with it, because I'm guessing my thought is they're going to just revamp it again because people have been so disappointed with the last couple movies. I don't know. The casting is pretty good though.
I was just gonna say I'd be okay if they brought in Magneto to like rip off Bucky's magnetic arm and beat him to death with it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm
No,
sorry, that was
Magneto though would
aggressive.
like no, it's not. That's what Magneto would rip his arm off though, but then like let him hang like in like some kind of like whatever. It'd be like in a bunker or something, and he'd be wrapped up in like sheets of metal and like be left there to like rot. That's what Magneto would do.
Oh, I
You
like
know,
that. That's more
he wouldn't
sinister.
just like bludgeon you. He just would kind of let you kind of sit there and rot.
And then like Magneto, like all of a sudden, like Iron Man, if it was like like Iron Man still happening, like starts flying towards Magneto. He tries crushing him, nothing happens, and Tony's trying to explain why. We're like, well, it's actually a polymetal, blah 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 blah. Like it's not magnetic. And yeah, okay, whatever.
I would like to see like Magneto come in and like here comes Iron Man, you know, like Tony Stark, he's all cocky and shit. Then Magneto just like clenches his fist and just like turns Tony
Pops
Stark
him
into
like a grape.
juice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
Like,
Does Magneto have control over vibranium too? We don't know
I was
that.
just gonna ask that with like, so Cap's shield is safe to knock him down.
Yeah, we don't know. Maybe
I don't know.
it's immune to his powers.
Maybe.
Hold on. I'm sitting here looking at She-Hulk, which is it's supposed to come out in the next few years. One of the next ones in their timeline. And apparently Tim Roth will reprise his role as Abomination from the Ed Norton Hulk. So that's absolutely canon. So that's
Wow.
weird that's basically that's canon, but Ed Norton just got subbed. Well, there you go. Yeah. Truth alert. Truth bomb. Mic drop.
Pew, 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 pew.
Hawkeye series 2021, right?
tell me
No
more.
one
Is that happening?
cares. No one cares. No one
Jamie cares.
No one cares.
Only Jamie cares.
Well, this week on Hawkeye, he goes to the range and fires an arrow.
So that's a good segue. Let's get into our worst characters segment.
Yeah. Sure.
No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. I was just being a dick.
Well, then I'm just
least-
gonna straight.
I just got to lay it on
Ant-Man.
So we were
Like,
just kind of
Ant-Man
talking about
movies are
series
entertaining,
though,
but-
so like So for like MCU, there's a few MCU series, right? That's coming out on Disney Plus this year. Then we have a couple like new movies that are coming out this fall and winter, right? So we're getting like the Black Widow film, and there's the other one that I've also read that could be like the catalyst to bring in mutants as well. It's the shit. What is it called? The second
Eternals.
Eternals. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
Eternals.
Yeah.
yeah,
That sounds wicked. That's gonna be a sweet movie.
yeah.
But that like tickles me in all the right places, right? Galaxies, these big beings out in space. I love the space Marvel movies.
Yeah, like so we get like was it like is it the Sentinels or Celestials? Right, yeah,
Yeah,
the Celestials
Celestials.
and yeah.
Speaking of series, here's an important question. I'm wondering how these fit in for you guys. What about the Netflix series that kind of came out during like phase 1 and phase 2, like Daredevil, Jessica
Is
Jones, Luke
They've swept
Cage,
them all under the rug.
Yeah, I
Iron
think I
Fist?
think they're not canon. I'm pretty sure. So one of the things I've been watching a lot of stupid WandaVision things on YouTube, right? Because I thought that series was great, and they talk specifically about the book. I don't remember what it was called, but like the evil book that Agatha has, which is it's part of MCU canon, right? It's a specific like evil book that some character had created, or some devil-like character, and they reference that book in the Agents of Shield show as well, and it's like not even close to looking the same, or I don't think it has the same reverence. So
Mm,
the what I was watching was, if because they clearly diverted from that, they're just throwing all of that away, and I don't think any of it matters.
okay, I was wondering because have you guys seen any of those? I've watched most of the first season of Daredevil, but that's about it.
We watched Jessica Jones, and there's nothing really in it that ties with any of the existing MCU stuff, so I guess technically you could call it canon. I don't think it changes anything.
I think you're right. Yeah, he makes like one offhand reference to Tony Stark or Iron Man or
Sure. Or
something,
like
but
other like mutant, or not mutants, but like enhanced people or whatever you want to call them.
yeah. Yeah, you're right though, Casey. That's as far as it goes. I was just wondering if you guys had seen them or how they kind of fit into your Marvel picture.
Jessica Jones is hard to even think of as Marvel. Like it could stand alone outside of Marvel, and I would have thought, oh yeah, sure,
Hmm.
You have to say Jessica Jones.
right. Yeah, but that had David Tennant in it as a really really good villain. Like he was pretty darn creepy in that first season.
Ooh, see, now I have to watch that. Okay.
Oh yeah, he's sorry to, and well, not if that's a spoiler. Well, it's not. You know that for most of it, but he's the like the bad guy of the first season, and he's really creepy because he's wicked powerful. He's really cool.
Okay, that's on the queue. Yeah, I always meant to watch the Bernthal Punisher too, because I always liked that character. Never gave it a shot though.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah, so back to series quick. I just want to cover like ones that are coming out on Disney Plus this year. So
Hmm.
we got WandaVision already that wrapped up. In a couple of weeks you get the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that's only going to be like 6 episodes. Then after that we get the Loki series, which I
Does
think
anybody
is
know what the hell that's going to be about?
it says it's
Just
supposed to
like
take place after Endgame. So
So
like
it not to
huh.
spoil Endgame, Chad, but in Endgame
he
there's a part
dies.
of it where they no, well, yes, but no,
Well, he
they go
does.
back in time. So the whole point of Endgame is they go back in like time. They figure out how to time travel. With Ant-Man, they figure out how to time travel, and they go back in
Chad,
time to
brace
the
yourself. It's a
Avengers
lot like
1.
Terminator, where they all come out naked.
Yes. Wait. No.
Sweet.
Wait. Maybe.
When, when they go back in
So they
time, whenever they
essentially
show up.
they go back to the Avengers 1 because one of the Infinity Stones is in Loki's staff at that point. So they like go back in time and like wait for their past selves to like capture Loki, yada yada yada, and they like sneak in and try to get the stone. Well, then like shit goes wrong. The stone, the little cube thing that holds the
The
stone
Tesseract.
pops out. The Tesseract pops out. Loki grabs it and then disappears, which is not how shit happened originally in the Avengers, right? So the thought is that that new timeline that was created is going to be where his series can spin off from, because there's technically a new timeline outside of the main one now, a new universe or multiverse in which he's still alive because he he left at that point with the stone instead of being captured. So that's maybe what the series is about. That's, I think,
That
the theory at this point.
that'd be my assumption, but I don't mean we don't need to talk about all the timelines and if they make
Yeah,
sense
the
or
Doctor
anything
Strange movie is going to do that. This
for
next Doctor
us.
Strange movie,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh god. So anyway, after that, then there's a series called What If, which I'm kind of excited about. If you're not
That
familiar with like the What If like comics, so they
that
just
looks
kind of
cool.
take random events and just say like, what if like this happened, like something like like in an event like went the other way. So I'm really excited to see what they do there. And then there's going to be a Ms. Marvel series in late 2021. So kind of interested to see that. Then like Hawkeye, but nobody cares about Hawkeye.
Except for Jamie. I'll watch
I
that
bet
before Mando season 2.
dude, you just took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, well, it's not coming out until late 2021, so that means long time for Mando season 2.
And on Jamie, I think when we podcast in May, I'm gonna open it up with like why I love the ending of Mando season 2, regardless of you have seen
Okay,
it or not.
fair enough. Challenge accepted. I'll watch it before then.
All right, so that's kind of series. Should we start off with? Do you guys want to rank these movies, or like what's kind of like your top 5 and why? Or
Yeah, let's just do top. I think ranking's tough because there's still a few of them I haven't seen. I haven't seen any of the new Spider-Man movies. In fact, watching Civil War now is, I think, Spider-Man's intro in this MCU, and it kind of disregarding the old Tobey Maguire ones. But what is it? What's his name?
Holland?
Tom Holland. Oh my goodness, I fell in love with him as Spider-Man in the Infinity War and Endgame. I think he is a perfect Spider-Man. I'm super excited now. That's kind of the reason why I went to watch Civil War, because I wanted to see his intro. And
Oh,
then
I
now
forgot
I
he
want
was
to
in
go
that.
watch Homecoming and Far From Home. I need to catch up on. So I'm super stoked that I've got 2 Spider-Man movies to catch up on, because I think he's probably my favorite Spider-Man I've seen in film yet. He
Hmm.
definitely captures the young high school student Peter Parker. He's hilarious. He's endearing. Yeah, I think he's great.
Yeah, I think Spider Man's probably like one of the most interesting Marvel characters. I think for me, just overall, and just like probably some of like the coolest like villains too. So that character is really interesting.
So you haven't seen any of this Spider-Man yet, then, right? Because you're in the timeline mode, and he
No,
hasn't shown up
I
yet.
think I watched the first one, but yeah,
Which one? The Spider-Man
the
Homecoming?
is that the first one?
Oh no, that was. I think that's the first Spider-Man
The first Tom Holland
that
Spider
Yeah,
Man?
the first
Yeah.
Tom Holland Spider-Man that he came out on his own.
Or maybe I started watching it. I don't know. What I saw of it,
Because he
I
was
liked.
in Civil War first. That was like
Yeah.
his first appearance.
But all right, let's go start with top 5 then. So, who's our most seasoned MCU person? Or should
James,
we
I
just
think
pick
you've
one?
seen them all, right?
I mean, I have, but I feel like Casey is probably the most seasoned.
No,
I mean,
I've been just YouTubing things the last few weeks. I'm not that knowledgeable. I just have fresh thoughts because I've been like in it for the last couple of weeks. WandaVision got me kind of headfirst into the MCU stuff. And like I've said before in previous pods, especially with like Interstellar, that was the last time something like that happened to me, where I watched something and like for a week or multiple weeks straight, I would consume other media about it just because I was so like into it. And WandaVision kind of did that with me for MCU. I've watched a lot of recaps. I've watched synopses and reviews of old movies I've actually already seen but haven't seen in a while. And then obviously just watched Civil War. So I've got a lot of fresh Marvel in my mind, but I'm not an expert. So I should go last because I've got the most fresh.
well, all right, I'll go first. So top for me, no particular order. But I liked Captain America: Winter Soldier a lot. The first Guardians, Thor 3, Ragnarok, and then Black Panther, and then for me the Avengers, like the Endgame and Infinity Wars. Like it's kind of like I don't know.
We
them
can
together as
count
one
those as
movie.
one, I think.
Right.
I think that counts.
Yeah, I know. My wife was like, if Marvel was really smart, because they're not, they're kind of stupid. And I'm like, what do you got? She was like, why didn't they just make those 2 movies 3 movies, so I would be okay with watching one of those movies? So then it'd be 2 hours. And and the idea was that they'd make more money because it's just one more movie, but then they could have cut it as the cliffhanger, like right when they go do the time heist and go to the past, and they cut it off right there and be like, directed by the Russos. wait,
So the
wait
snap
till
happens in the first one, and then they
right,
go back in time, or they get ready to go back in time in the second one.
correct, because I think that's like about 2 hours in. I don't know.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
might be wrong on that one. But anyways, that was kind of like her thought. It was like, they're dumb. They could have made so much more money. And I'm like, well, the movie passed Titanic. I think that was their only goal, right? Maybe not.
They're the kings of the world.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, so I'll go through mine quick. So I was just trying to count here how many I've actually seen. So I'm like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Did you count Howard the
8,
Duck as MCU?
9. Yep. That's number 1, of course. It's obvious. So what, like 9.5, I think I've seen all the way through. I've seen Ragnarok, but I'm not going to count that one. I'm going to give that a second try. So,
What?
since
A
you
second
guys
try?
love
You
that.
didn't like it the first time?
No, I fucking hate Thor. I just hate that character. We'll get to that when we talk about worst CU characters. But really quick, off my top of my head, my favorite
Friendship
one,
over.
my favorite one overall is still Guardians, the first one. I just think I just like the cast of characters in that. It's funny, and I just think it's just a pretty cool story. It's fun,
Yep.
and it's in space.
I think that was the first like soundtrack that came out that hit number 1 where all the songs were old songs. Like, so it wasn't like we created a song for the Guardians movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
As far as soundtracks go, and it hit number 1 when it came out on like the top Billboard 100.
Yeah, it's a kick-ass soundtrack. It's awesome. Then after that, really in no order, but I just like Iron Man 3, Captain Marvel, and Captain America have been the ones I've given like 3 stars or more on my letterbox. So all the
Iron
other
Man
ones
3
I
was
think are
awesome. Iron
yeah,
Man, like where he's like not Iron Man the whole movie.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. I did get there's some parts that kind of annoyed me towards the end, but yeah, overall it was a pretty fun movie to watch.
Nice. I'm going to jump in before Casey. This was your exercise, so I'll let you finish it off. So my list, again, in no particular order. So there's 23 films in the MCU I counted. I've seen 20 of them. So I have not seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. I've not seen Captain Marvel. James, I still have your movie. I will get it back to you. And I got halfway through Far From Home and I fell asleep. Not necessarily the movie's fault. So my favorites are Guardians of the Galaxy. I own that soundtrack. I bought it when it became available. Civil War for 2, Ragnarok for 3. Oh shoot, I'm gonna lose it. Where did it go? I said Guardians, Ragnarok, Civil War. Give me
Convenience or give me death.
convenience or give me
Give
death.
me A Man After Midnight.
Yeah, all of those things. Shoot, why am I stumbling here? The first Iron Man, I'll take that 4, and then 5 is either Black Panther or Endgame / Infinity War, depending on my mood. Those kind of cycle. Oh.
All right, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Oh man, so I don't think I'm gonna rehash a top 5 because it's pretty much the same as what you guys have all said. I'm a huge fan of Ragnarok. I think it's hilarious. I don't think Taika Waititi gets enough credit for like completely. I think Thor Ragnarok is to echo you, Chad, is what rejuvenated Thor to me as an actual legitimate character that I cared about, because Thor 1, it was one of the first MCU movies. I think it was one of the weaker first ones, and then Dark World I haven't even seen, but it's clearly universally revered as the worst MCU movie. But then Ragnarok, I almost wasn't going to watch Ragnarok, but I had a coworker like tell me, no, you have to watch this movie. It's perfectly like hilarious. I think it's a gorgeous film. Like the colors, just the way they filmed it. It's such a left turn from normal superhero movies, which makes sense because it all exists out in like space and whatnot too. So, but no, I thought Ragnarok is amazing. Black Panther is really good. I think Guardians One is definitely in my top few, and then clearly the Infinity War Endgame saga. I guess if I had to pick one, I might cheat and pick the saga because as much as it was way long, and as much as there are plenty of gaping plot holes, I think it did such a good job of like establishing this super chaotic villain. I thought Thanos was, especially in the first movie, he was kind of boring in the second movie, but in the first movie, Thanos was just, I thought, super just. I don't know. Like you didn't really cheer for him, but you were like, okay, you're not just like a dude killing people. You have this weird ethos. I don't know. It was just, I thought, a really interesting villain. It tugged at your heartstrings in all the right ways. The like Tony Stark Spider-Man stuff was like awesome. Doctor Strange, who I think his movie was pretty good, and he doesn't have enough good roles in some of the other movies. I thought he was super good in the first of those. So I think that would have to be my top, is just, and it's unfair, right? Because it's like what, 5-6 hours of film, so clearly it's, to rank that above anything isn't fair because they took the long game there, quantity over quality. But no, I think it did a really good job of especially tying together this epic like handful of movies that just, each one of these is their own origin story. There's not a ton of crossover until you really get to the Avengers series, and then I thought by the end of it they just did that crossover stuff really well, even if it left some plot holes and things in its way. I don't know, I just can't think of a similar series or family of films or anything that's kind of done what these have done, and you can argue that they're not great film. I don't know, maybe you can or can't argue that they're not great film in terms of like historic artistic film, and they are at times popcorn action movies, but I don't know, to tell all these stories and have them kind of tie together in the way that they did. I think that's why those two at the end, the Infinity War and Endgame, are just so good because it's such a crazy good bow at the end.
Yeah, I just want I just want to Thor, like, overall, like, there's just a couple characters that ruin kind of everything for me. Like, once they're in like a scene, I'm just like, it just totally fucks me up. And one of them is Thor. It just, that character just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I think Thor would be like way cooler if he was like a rugged fucking looking dude. Like, he's just kind of this clean, crisp guy that but they always make him look like his hair is unkept, or not unkept, but like unwashed. It always kind of looks
Like a little
greasy.
greasy. Yeah.
Yeah. He needs to be like fucking rugged, maybe some scars, like a badass beard, like I don't know. It
But see,
just
that's the whole point of Thor. He's a god. Like he's not just a
I
superhero. He's like a
Yeah, I
literal
know.
god in this universe.
Yeah, that
And like
just kind
that's
of bothers
that's
me too.
yeah, he was born royalty. He's the prince to the throne of whatever. What's the name of their damn planet?
Asgard.
Valhalla? Asgard,
Asgard,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the heir to the throne of, like, so he's the definition of like silver spoon, and that's I think why I love Ragnarok so much, because he like there's a lot more of a character dive into Thor himself and a little bit of like self introspection that he has to go through, and I don't know, I thought it was good character development for him. But I agree with Thor and then Dark World, like yeah, and then even bleeding into like the first Avengers where he's still kind of that same Thor. Yeah, he's kind of boring. I agree with you there.
Like, let me twirl my hammer and fly through the air. It's like this
Oh,
just
but he gets so much more badass. You got to watch Ragnarok, and then I think he's so good in Infinity War. His play with what's his face from the Guardians, with him and Chris Pratt. I think their kind of banter back and forth is so funny and so good.
As Guardians of the Galaxy.
So, and then when he goes back to oh my gosh, in the second one when he goes back to Asgard with Rocket, that's super funny too.
I agree. Chad, would you like him more if he was like maybe a Greek god rather than a Norse god? Like if it played into your God of War interests?
No, I
Do
think
It's
the
pandering.
idea of that he is a Norse god, he probably should look a little bit more rugged. You know?
got it.
I was gonna say, yeah, it doesn't go that way because even the way Chad, you were saying it, I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, if like you're the son of Zeus, and I'm like, in all these movie depictions, it's like, yeah, silver spoons and everything's shiny and like really clean cut and pretty. But a Norse god, yeah, that's got to be a brutal guy. Isn't that your real deal with the whole MCU as it is like all their hairs are in the right place, kind of thing?
Yeah, like everything's like too perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get it. Like I get where like these movies are coming from, but which a lot of that can get past. But like, yeah, Thor just bugs the hell out of me. Like Black Widow bugs the hell out of me. Hawkeye bugs the hell out of me.
You know what's great about Hawkeye is, and
He's
this is
not
the
a
whole
hawk.
he's not a hawk, but he's a Deadeye. That's the whole problem with Civil War, right? Is the collateral damage. Well, he is nothing except for an exact shooter. He picks his mark, and if you're gonna die, it's because Hawkeye has decided you're gonna die. There's no collateral damage there. That's the perk of a bow and arrow.
That's funny because that was a specific joke that I just caught towards the end of Civil War, where because he retires. That's in Civil War he has retired. He's not an Avenger. The whole that's part of this plot line, and then he comes back at the end, and Iron Man's like, how's retirement? How's your golf game? And says this little speech about how I played 18, I shot 18. Turns out I can't miss, and I was like, oh, what a cheesy Hawkeye thing to say.
That's why he's the best.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
super
God.
cheesy and perfect. And like as he's staring down Iron Man about to blast him away, he is just good.
See, Chad, I rest my case. Thank you, Casey.
So clearly we're talking most hated characters. Chad laid his out. I'm gonna piggyback because I don't hate her as a character. I think Black Widow is fine in the movies. I think she does great things in terms of character development and like she's part of the Avengers. She's in the comics. I get all that yada yada yada. The thing that I really can't get behind is how she has no abilities but yet they show these extensive fight scenes which if you like take yourself out of the action and just think about it in slow motion it's like it's more of a dance than a fight. Like the people are coming into the right spots to like land right where her legs are so she can wrap them around and flip them around and then grab the next guy. It's all like it feels to me like pro wrestling, right? It's less
Super
action.
choreographed.
Yes, it's just super choreographed, like flashy bodies flying around, and I just can't get behind, especially in the first Avengers, the money scene, the money shot at the end where they're in the middle of Manhattan. And the camera pans around them as all the Avengers are fully assembling, and she fucking cocks a Glock. You're surrounded. You've got the goddamn Hulk next to you, this giant green thing. You've got a dude in a crazy mech suit that can blow people up. Hell, I'll even shout out Hawkeye here. You've got a dude who can pinpoint a dude from 100 yards away, and you're gonna cock your damn Glock. Get out of here. You're not doing a damn thing to help this fight.
She had her like taser fists.
She does
Taser
get taser fists
Taser fist.
at some point. Yeah.
God. Really quick, when you said something about Hawk, it just made me think of the coolest Hawk moment I like so far was I think it's probably the only one he's really in, is in Avengers where he like fucking grabs Loki and just like
Oh yeah.
fucking throws him around like he just looks like a spaghetti noodle.
Oh man, remember that? Remember that when you get to Ragnarok because they
Hulk.
throw that
I
back
thought
in
you were saying
Ragnarok. It's really
Hawk the
good.
whole time.
Oh, Hulk.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of the first Avengers, especially because Loki was just like having a fit, like I'm a god, I'm above you, and he just like smashes him.
It's like puny god.
That was good. See, now you got to watch. You got to get to Ragnarok because there's a really good
All right,
callback to
I'm
that
getting
exact
there.
thing.
Close.
It's
I'm
so.
getting
Oh
there.
man, I love Ragnarok.
You guys keep talking about like actual like superheroes like in this situation. So I'm gonna go ahead and say like the Mandarin. What a stupid ass character that was in Iron Man 3. Okay, I guess
Yeah.
silence.
No,
Okay.
I get no. I think it was a really cool
I
twist that
it
they could have done, but then it fell. It kind of fell flat to me.
Yeah, I would just like the character. Like at the end, you're like, no, like he was building up to be something really, really cool, and like I was expecting more. But of course, we're playing into this more realistic universe with some of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, more realistic as it goes. Um, but yeah, like, and clearly he was just more than just a terrorist, or he wasn't a terrorist. He was an actor. Whatever. I don't
Is
know.
it because Guy Pearce was kind of a bad payoff at the end to be the ultimate bad guy? Like it would, like did that
Yeah.
just not click?
I mean, I don't know. I like Guy Pearce a lot, so like he wasn't the ultimate bad guy. I mean, anything we could do to get that ending where all of Tony's 100 different iron suits, including getting introduced like to the Hulkbuster and all that, like that was a cool scene of seeing like every single one of those guys come out at after all those flaming guys, but or combustible guys, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking, like, yeah, you're right. Like, we had two major villains in this, like we do in most MCU movies these days. And I think that, like, at the end, I wasn't extremely satisfied with the result.
Yeah, that was disappointing. That's where part of that movie, like that's where it fell flat for me. When I was saying like I liked it, because there's some parts of, like towards the end that were I didn't like as much, and that was yeah, it really did fall flat. But yeah, the build up was fun. Like the guy that was playing like the terrorist, who everyone thought was the Mandarin,
Yeah.
like those are I just like his like dialogue and how he played his accent out was really cool. Almost made him sound kind of nerdy, and then that kind of plays into like, oh yeah, because he was a theater actor. But
Yeah.
Well, I think it was a
Eh,
bummer too because I didn't know a whole lot about him, but I knew he was a pretty big villain in the Iron Man universe. So
yeah,
according to Wikipedia, the arch enemy. So that's like your Green Goblin turning out to not be your Green Goblin.
yeah,
which I guess technically now, yeah, Jamie, you make a good point. We haven't really seen Green Goblin in the MCU, have we?
No, I think he was last seen in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I think Dane DeHaan was our last Green Goblin, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah, that guy from Chronicles?
Yep.
God,
Yep.
that kid looks creepy.
Yeah,
the
he's
chronic
oh
what
man.
codes of Narnia,
That's
The
actually a
Chronic.
really good superhero movie.
Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah. No, Chronicle.
Oh,
I think
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
It,
the what's it called? Like the Blair Witch style found footage, that's what it's called.
yeah,
Found
Found
footage.
footage, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think actually, so Chronicle, I think the guy that directed that, like, because like everybody was like, "Oh, that was such a good movie." Didn't he do the Fantastic Four and then like
yep.
go crazy, or not go crazy, but just like bashed it because the studio didn't let him edit it the way he wanted to, and then I don't think he's done anything since.
Oh
You're
god.
right. Yeah, that kind of ruined him.
Wah,
Let me
wah.
just take a look here. Oh well, I shouldn't say that. He had a 2020 movie. It was that Capone movie with Tom Hardy.
Mm,
Didn't see it, but whatever. Back to the
whatever.
MCU. Uh, so I actually, if once they can bring the Fantastic Four into this whole MCU, I'm excited about that. I know maybe we were talking on a different podcast or off pod, but or maybe not at all. But somebody was talking to me about what's his face, Jim from The Office, John Krasinski, potentially being John Krasinski
Yeah,
being potentially
Reed
Mr.
Richards.
Fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, I like that a lot. And then they were like, the person I was talking to got all excited because they're like, because then what if Emily Blunt played the Invisible Woman? And I'm like, yeah, still on board. Like, who else you got?
See, this is okay. This is where I had this breakthrough revelation actually not too long ago where you get a movie to where it seems like, oh no, here comes another superhero action team where like one of the guys like special powers has to do with something like with his skin. Like some kind of like skin formation, deform. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, that's I like the idea of actually a good Fantastic Four movie. I think
Did
there's a
anybody
lot you
see
could do
the?
there.
Did anybody see that last Fantastic Four movie?
No.
I think it's on Disney Plus, actually.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I don't know. I enjoyed it enough. Like, I think the actors and like the visual effects were really good. I mean, I think at the end they did. I think they kind of lost where they were going with the story, but I mean, it's definitely an enjoyable take on it.
Yeah, I think we need to get away too from like when we're introducing like a new like Marvel or superhero movie or anything like that. Maybe we just like we don't need to fucking do like another like origin story movie. Like
Right. Like,
we
you
can
can make it
just
like
start from
Spider
the
Man.
get go. Right.
Well, that's I think that was why Spider-Man worked pretty well. Although I would love actually to see a Tom Holland origin because I think he's so good. But it was kind of nice to just get kind of thrown in because we all know the stories of most of these guys.
It's kind of like if you get away from the MCU and you talk about like Batman versus Superman, and in the beginning of that one, they didn't take care of the whole how he became Batman in the credit scene. So okay, it's away in 2 minutes, but still, that's 2 minutes of nobody needs to see his parents get shot outside a movie theater. We got
Right.
it.
Right. Right.
You're right. I was surprised they even showed that in Joker. Like Todd Phillips's Joker. I was like, really? We're gonna see Bruce and Martha get gunned down again? Okay. All right. Spoiler alert for Joker, but
But that's fine. I mean, that's fine. Like we don't
Just
need
wait for
because what happens with these movies is we get a new movie, we get a new cast of characters, and we got to spend 40 minutes of the fucking movie like building up to like why they became this person, right? Or why they became the Fantastic Four, or like what made Batman become Batman. You know, it's like that's critical time. Like, speaking about time and like not being like not valuing your time. Like I want to go back to the Avengers movie quick, like the first one. Like the first 40 minutes of that movie is just like fucking garbage, and it's just like all it is like getting the gang together, and it's just such a waste of time. You can make that's something you just make like 5-10 minutes, and that movie would have been
Hold
so
on,
much
but you
better.
got to remember the first part of the Infinity Saga was all this, cock teasing about all these different superheroes that are eventually going to come together. So they had to just keep teasing you
No,
until until climax.
no, no.
I feel like
I like the analogy, but no, I have to.
No,
so I liked it a lot. I feel like Chad's perfect like MCU movie is just like if the first 10 minutes is just like this Deadpool style recap where it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's like do 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 do, and then it gets to the point.
Yeah.
well, Chad, let me ask you, how do you feel about Loki? Because there's a lot of Loki in those first 40 minutes.
I don't know.
He's a trickster.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just I struggled through the first 40 minutes. Actually, I stopped at a point to where I was like, okay, I don't even know if I can finish this movie. Then like I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it like another 10 minutes, and then the movie like really takes off. So, but yeah, it was
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
But that's me.
He has one of my favorite villain lines, though. It's it's you humans want to be ruled. It's in your nature or something like that. You know, he's given that little speech.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I'm like, man, that is true. We do find ways to deify individuals or ideas. I think Loki's onto something.
Or Joss Whedon.
Or Joss Whedon. Yeah, right.
Yeah, he wants
That's
to control
probably more correct.
He wants to rule the world. All right, do you guys want to dive into movie scripts? Dun dun dun.
Yes.
I'll go first if I'm allowed because mine are two brief ones and to the point. Chad and I were discussing a little bit earlier that I'm like I was having the worst time trying to think of like what I thought was a decent plot point for anything. Like, and so, anyways,
That's okay. I wrote mine out. Think I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I was like just thinking of all like the plot holes already. So
mine were the
it's
worst.
okay.
Like,
This is fun.
I kept on just thinking of when I was trying to think of whatever I want to do with the MCU, it was just correlated with whatever I was watching. So I told Chad I was watching Hook last night, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, so instead of Peter Pan, what if Iron Man's kids got taken by, and then who would play Hook? I'm like, Wolverine. It's gonna be perfect. And I'm like, this is the stupidest damn thing I've ever heard of.
Bangarang.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, who would be Rufio? Clearly Hawkeye. Okay, so Jamie, though, I'm gonna give Hawkeye some love here. So the two concepts I came up with, and it was kind of on the same idea is that Spider-Man is owned by Sony and is kind of leasing Disney's leasing the rights to keep doing this together. What if they got involved with Summit Entertainment and it's Hawkeye, but as when he's Ronin, or yeah, that's right, isn't it, Jamie? Is that what he's called when he's like murdering everybody?
Oh, right. When he yep,
When he's like got his sword and everything too in Infinity War. Well, it's
that's right.
I was just thinking to myself, like, what if we brought John Wick into this MCU universe and it's like John Wick versus Hawkeye?
Yes.
And then there's just like this, like, I don't know, like I there's like there's a whatever a mark on Hawkeye's head or vice versa, and like they're both trying to kill each other. Anyways, that was another stupid one I had. Okay, the real one that I had, and like I said, mine are dumb and brief because I don't have like super big plot points. But I was trying to think of like how I could bring like the thing missing from our MCU universe right now is clearly X-Men. And I was trying to think like how can I bring X-Men into this universe or make it plausible that they're already in this universe. And so my kind of thought there was, well, you have the Infinity Stones. They can do anything they want. So who's to say when Hulk like snapped his fingers to bring everybody back with the blip? What if some of the people that came back from the blip were mutated? And like that's how you start
Oh.
to kind of see mutants in that light. Or when in the same ideas with uh Loki stealing the Infinity Stone in the one timeline, creating that new timeline, like if they messed up something in the past, and like so slowly but surely like mutants are like arriving and showing up, and like we're not sure, that's why we haven't seen them in the MCU before, is because maybe they didn't exist, but now they do. And then I was trying to think of that, like, so even like as simple as Thor, or not Thor, Hulk thinking along the lines of, like, man, I just bring everybody back. Like, but what if we had one person that could destroy Thanos, and like that's how we get Rogue, like, because Rogue could easily touch Thanos, take all of his power, and be done.
I really like this idea.
Uh, that's as far as I got. I feel like there's possibilities going each way with that idea. Because I don't know. I like the idea of trying to figure out how we can get mutants into the past, like how we can get Wolverine in the same, like how he's fighting next to Cap in World War II, but maybe we didn't know it. So like I don't know how to get back to that part of the universe, but my initial idea was just, yeah, with the blip when everybody shows back up, maybe like some of them, if not all of them, are a little bit changed and they just don't know it yet.
Interesting.
That's where the
Interesting.
X gene comes from.
So speaking of Rogue, I have read that there is a rumor that Rogue is going to be the villain in Captain Marvel 2.
So,
Just
oh
a rumor.
well,
Yeah, because those
Wait, who is
characters,
going to be the villain?
Rogue, because in the comics, that's how Rogue
Whoa.
gains her flying ability.
that's what I thought. I always remember that from like, I don't
Oh.
even think I read that in the comics. I think it wasn't
X-Men
it in the
cartoon.
cartoon. Yeah, where
Yeah.
he goes and she goes and visits like Carol Danvers in like a coma.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's
Cool.
one way to get rid of Brie Larson.
Right.
Womp.
I like Brie just fine.
All right. If I can go next, if Jamie or Casey, if you
Do it.
want to go. Okay. All right. I've never done anything like this before, so I need you to use your imagination. Okay.
That's what you said to your wife last night.
I can't do that.
Opening scene. Large metro US city. Like a MCU version of like a Black Lives Matter protest. Then people like around the country are blaming mutants for the riots, right? Kind of the same thing online at like how we saw like civil unrest last year. Um, a new government force arrives called the X-Men, led by Magneto, and they're called in to calm the civil unrest because it's mainly like lots of like mutants that are kind of protesting for like rights. So peaceful mutant protesters are being taken away by the X-Men. I'm doing quotes here. Blamed for starting fires, behind the murder of police officers and government agents. The government is calling mutants outside agitators. The mutants are being removed and sent to the island of Genosha. This would be something that would be kind of spoken of in the film, but never seen in this movie, at least. And like this is something that can be fleshed out in a separate film. Genosha is like a mutant slave colony and is radicalizing mutants. And later we'll get this later. And I put where the
Whoa.
Avengers fit in. I don't know. Then it cuts to say like a homeless, like maybe a couple kids. They look like maybe they're homeless. I don't know. They look kind of like they have ratty clothes on, but they're kind of walking through the woods and they come across this fence, and kid reaches out, touches the fence, it freezes and shatters, and they're kind of going in, and we kind of see this old building in the background, kind of rubble, like it's been broken down, destroyed, just parts of it. This entire area is fenced off, highly secured, except when these kids break in, of course. And they find this old dilapidated building. As the kids go in to take a closer look, we pan by a broken sign that reads Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. So that's actually this is like my end credit scene to like the last Avengers movie or something. But that's all I have. So the idea is like kind of Magneto is like manipulating the US government to create this X-Men team, again in quotes, because X-Men is kind of used as like a pejorative term for mutants.
Kind of like G-Man.
Yeah, and like X-Men are taking our jobs. These X-Men go back to your country, kind of stuff. Think about it that way. But yeah, and like these mutants are being taken away to Genosha, but actually Magneto is using this to like radicalize mutants, and which later would be kind of would form like the Brotherhood, like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. But we'll be cool. We'll just call it the Brotherhood, and this is something that would be fleshed out in like an X-Men centric film. I think this would be a cool way too to like create like the series where eventually we get like this huge like X-Men versus like Avenger Clash, and that would be like your whole like kind of Infinity Saga. That's all I got.
Damn. So wait, just so I understand. So in your example, Chad, Magneto has infiltrated the government, but he's a double agent. Like he's picking and choosing these mutants where he wants them on this island, so he can radicalize them and then do his bidding. Basically.
Yeah, they're sent to this island of Genosha. Genosha is something I pulled from like the comics, which is kind of used as like think of it as like Guantanamo, but for mutants.
Okay.
But he's then using this to radicalize mutants, as like Magneto likes to do, to create his brotherhood, so he can like rule humans. So
now, would Magneto roll out like maybe like some sort of vaccine to make like the mutant gene go away, and then make sure everybody has to take it?
No, that could be like a side plot though.
By May 1st.
Yeah.
Mutant 65 and older?
Right.
Get the first dose?
I don't know. I was trying to think of an idea too, like how do you work the Avengers in this storyline? It's like it'd be cool to like if these movies, MCU movies, kind of played more on like current events and maybe like the struggle, but I think like X-Men always did a really good job of that. But
no, I think you're not wrong in the situation where I feel like we're gonna like what we will see is when an X-Men movie finally gets. I like that you went the X-Men route though, Chad. That's awesome. When we see that, I think what we will see is less how the Avengers are gonna be involved together, but we will still see like kind of like in Spider-Man. Well, like in Spider-Man, like they show like new like on the TV in the background, like Tony Stark, Iron Man, blah blah blah. Like,
yeah.
But he's not actually there necessarily. Like I think that's what we'll see in these like and new MCU X-Men things is like sure mutant stuff's happening, but in the background it's still the MCU is like alive and well. I don't know.
Go. Who's next?
Man, I don't know how to follow that, Chad. That was really good. You actually like went for it. I really like that. I'll try.
Oh, I just spit that out in like a couple minutes. It's nothing.
All right, we'll
That's me.
watch
That's
this.
me. Yeah, don't pat myself on the back too hard. I might knock myself out.
I'm super excited for like Jamie to be like everybody's is a little bit different of how they're doing this. Like Jamie's gonna be like, all right, so you zoom in a bedroom and Cyclops is taking a shower, but his eyes are closed, so he doesn't like ruin the shower. And, like, then he reaches for his glasses, and Jean Grey's like, they're over here, baby. Like, and I'm like, Jesus, Jamie, where's this going?
Bow, chicka, bow, bow.
Oh, you guys, mine are way dumber than that. Even shoot,
Is that
we
Hawkeye
I
centric?
should have. No, it's not. I should have workshopped this with you
Hawkeye
guys.
becomes a used car salesman.
Can't miss.
After
Hawkeye,
it's-
it's like the Breakfast of Champions version of Hawkeye, or Hawkeye in Breakfast of Champions.
I was gonna make a Hawkeye in the shower joke with Cyclops. That's what happened. He lost his vision. He was like, "All right, Cyclops, I want to look you in the eyes just once." Bam! And then he can't use his powers, which is just really good aim. Anyway, I was trying to come up with one for the Silver Surfer because he's like one of my favorite
Oh yeah,
characters, and we
Oh,
saw him
yeah.
once in the Fantastic Four movie. It was like 2004. But the more I
Voiced
thought
by
about
Lawrence
it,
Fishburne.
cool. And that's
Yeah.
gonna bring in Galactus, right? Yeah, I like this.
exactly. But the problem is, I couldn't come up with a better idea. I'm like, man, maybe he's a better action figure than like an actual superhero you build a movie around.
Very likely.
Yeah,
Like
but
he goes back to college.
yeah,
Like to become a cool kid.
right. He's just the silver student. Yeah, I don't.
I like that.
So I would like another shot at Silver Surfer, whatever that looked like, and yeah, bringing in Galactus. He could meet up with the Guardians. You know, he's out in space.
Yeah.
That'd be
an
cool. I'd
easy
be
one
into
to
that.
get.
Yep.
That'd be easy. Yeah, Silver Surfer would be an easy one to move into Guardians. Which I mean, isn't like on most of the characters in the MCU, like sure Thor's strong in his own way, and but like I guess he does control thunder or lightning and stuff like that. But I was just trying to think like everyone's just has like either tech or they're maybe a little bit stronger than the next guy, but nobody really does anything like mutants do things like no lasers are coming from anybody's eyes. So like the only person I can think of is Groot is like the first mutant in the MCU.
Groot. Oh.
Yeah, that's true.
But isn't a mutant an alien that, or sorry, wouldn't a mutant be a human that's mutated? And
Yeah.
Groot's like clearly just an alien.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know, but all the rest of the aliens can't do
treating.
anything. I don't
Right.
know.
Good call.
I guess. Okay. Casey,
Control
you're
lightning
up.
like the mighty Thor, bringing thunder down. All right, come on.
All right, well,
Casey.
I clearly can't follow Chad either, but I think what I have going for me is my idea is kind of a left turn. So I've actually had this idea before. So when you asked about this, I was like, oh man, I'm going to use this because I think this would be hilarious and really interesting. I think we need preferably a TV type series, a Netflix type series over a movie. But I think a series should revolve around a group of I don't know what to call them, sanitation workers. Essentially, imagine this future where superheroes are doing stuff all the time. There would have to be utility workers or certain businesses that were set up to clean up after these
aftermath?
superhero events. Yeah. So like literally it's all you almost, and in my mind you would see almost no Marvel characters. There would be almost zero crossover. It's every time they've left, and then you've got these characters like sweeping up the rubble or like picking
Don't we
up the
kind of
destroyed
get this a little
buildings.
bit in the beginning of Spider-Man?
I don't know. I haven't seen that one.
Because-
Maybe we do.
So here's, I mean, we do. That's kind of what Michael Keaton's their
Ca-
jobs
yeah.
are,
Yeah.
except for like they're trying to just clean up like the mess after everything. But funny thing is, did anybody? I think it was a short-lived series. I don't even know if it's on anymore. I'm just looking right now. Powerless. It was a TV show.
See,
on,
did
like,
I
NBC.
steal this idea?
So Powerless was it was like on NBC or something. It was the first comedy from DC, and basically like they were like insurance adjusters, and like they looked up to these superheroes, but like they're the ones who had to like deal with the crap that happened after the fact.
Okay. Yeah.
So hold on,
They're a
like,
maybe I
superhero
stole that
insurance
idea.
agency.
so yeah, follow the staff of an insurance company specializing in products to protect defenseless bystanders from collateral damage of superheroes and supervillains.
funny.
So, way to plagiarize that.
So
I'm just
Simpsons did
kidding.
it, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, I know. It's like that's the thing. Anything we're saying right now, Simpsons have done. So it's like,
Yeah.
what are we
No,
gonna
but
do?
in my mind, it's very much like a rip off of like I haven't even seen it, but I think it would be in the same theme of like Superstore, like a cheesy comedy show revolving around these
For sure.
characters who are dealing with this absolute destruction, like buildings exploded, like dead bodies maybe even still in the rubble, and you've just got these like silly side storylines that have nothing to do with the MCU. And maybe you could get people to cameo here and there, the lower like the C list heroes. I mean, Hawkeye could maybe be in an episode.
Oh my god! Can't wait till Jeremy Renner shows up on our next cast.
Oh, and it sucks because I love Jeremy Renner. He's so good. And even though I'm shitting on Hawkeye, like he's really good as Hawkeye, but like still.
Casey, I just
I'm
heard the Curb theme in my head as you were describing this terrible scene.
Right?
Oh, it's good. It's great.
I think not to keep going, but I think that's why I really enjoyed watching Civil War just now was because you won't in this a lot of these hero movies you never really see the aftermath, and that one was like directly about, oh, you did this crazy shit, like you lifted this whole city up and just and killed so many people because of you guys. And it's like, well, what now? And the whole movie is revolving around like what's happening because of that, and like how the heroes play into an actual global economy that's like, hey, you guys can't just let people die like this and kill people on accident because you're having these big super battles. So I think that would be a really cool twist or another, a series to kind of show the aftermath.
Cool. I like that. I just when you brought up Civil War, it just made me think of this. Like, s- I have this idea that Civil War only takes place on like that airport or like airfield or whatever, because that's the only scenes I think I've seen from that movie. It's always
from the
that
trailer.
they're just they're
Yep,
just running
yep.
they're just running around the airport the entire movie. Is that
Oh
the
man,
Civil
not to
War is
keep
over in
harping
the
on that.
airport?
That's towards the end. That's where the big battle takes place. But I think to keep harping on it, the fight scene, the one after the airport with when it's Cap, Bucky, and Iron Man, that little like that fight, that choreography, like that battle was wicked. That was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Well, I mean, it's clear like they show kind of like in I want to say Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3, like Tony is clearly Krav Magaing or something. Like he's learning how to actually like fight in some ways. Because I'm like, well, how is Iron Man doing what he's doing, like blocking and all this stuff? But I like in Civil War when he's like analyze his movements or his tactics, and then like his suit recalibrates what it should do. So I'm like, oh, so his suit's really kind of doing the work.
Yeah, that was
That makes more.
sweet.
That kind of makes more sense, but it also makes it really cool.
So I just kind of have been picking up on this. So is there a connection between Iron Man's like AI and Vision?
It is
It
his
is.
AI.
Yeah.
You'll get there. That's how Vision is birthed. Is
So
a
I was like, these
combination
guys
of
sound the
that.
same.
Yeah, same person. Yep, you'll get there.
Cool.
Yeah, totally Jarvis. Sorry to spoil it, but that was
no,
that's
I
the
don't
cool.
care.
That's all in Ultron. That's the cool stuff that happens in Ultron.
All right.
and then you get to find My Girl Friday.
My Girl Friday.
Heck yeah, you'll get to her. That's the after Jarvis is no longer available because he is the soul of a robot. He gets a new voice AI in his Iron Man suit.
Yeah. Actually, what actually turned me on to that, like the flip the switch for me was like it was in WandaVision. There was like I think it was in the last episode where he says something like I was like an AI
A voice
and I had
without a
a voice.
body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, oh, damn, this voice
And
sounds
actually,
familiar.
not to keep hammering on it, but that's why I wanted to watch Civil War. Is that helped shed a lot of light on WandaVision relationship stuff. But I'm all in the whole Wanda and Vision relationship. I think those are some after. I don't know. I think WandaVision was spectacular.
Yeah, that's what that was like the catalyst for like me like actually going back and like
Same,
I'm just
same.
gonna give these a
The only,
another shot.
the only thing with WandaVision is I just don't see myself going back and watching the first 2 episodes ever again.
Same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like, I
no,
mean,
I agree.
agree.
I get it. I loved it, the nostalgia, all that kind of part. But like now that I've seen it once over, like I don't need to watch that campiness again to
It
enjoy
might
it. So I,
well,
Yeah,
it might be worth watching it to look for like little subtle things that might play in later, I guess.
oh, the
But
toaster says
I wouldn't
Stark.
watch it. Right. But like the beeping of that toaster, by the way, was the same beeping from like the bomb that they showed from her childhood. So that's like the interesting thing is that even the
Oh, no
commercials kind of
way.
play into Wanda's stuff in her like
Wait, is
history.
this a
Like
real
the
thing? Because I was joking about the
yeah,
toaster. Does the toaster say
no,
Stark?
it does.
Oh,
Yeah, it totally says
what?
Stark. Well, maybe hold on. Maybe the toaster doesn't. The bomb does. We all know that. Maybe the toaster
Well,
doesn't,
yeah.
but the
oh yeah.
beeping is the same as the Stark bomb.
You know what? That one sentence now makes me want to watch it just to make sure I didn't miss anything. But then I'm never watching it again. I'm like subliminally, I saw all of that and just registered it now. What? Who's the best villain so far? Well,
Hmm.
actually, well,
Part
let's
no,
wait till you've
actually, I
seen them
do. I
all.
do. So far, I would say I said Red Skull. I
Jude.
just
Oh yeah,
really
Red
like
Skull.
Red Skull. So,
I was gonna say Red Skull or Jude Law's character.
oh yeah, and Captain. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I really like Captain Marvel. I was a lot of
Oh, I
people
haven't seen that one yet.
shit talk that movie, but I thought it was really good. It's funny, and I thought, yeah,
It's
it was a
well, the
fun
thing is,
movie.
like, I think I'm trying to think. That movie came out maybe that was the one that came out after
After
Thor, like
It
Ragnarok,
was
or it
right
came out after
before.
Infinity.
No, it was right before Endgame.
yeah, it
Okay,
came out
that's
that
right.
same
That's how
year.
you introduced her before Endgame. It was after Infinity, after Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Because that's the thing is like you watch like I think when I was watching things, it's like you get Ragnarok, which is hilarious, Ant Man and Wasp, which is like Ant Man movies are just made there to be comical and have like a couple things in there. But like and then you get to Captain Marvel, and that's like for me, Chad. I was thinking to myself, oh, this movie could be funnier because now I'm like expecting the movies to be really funny and then have sweet action scenes, but like you're right though, it was funny, but it was very good. But like for some reason, like that one never sticks out to me as like one of my favorites. But there's nothing bad about it.
Sweet. Any villain? How about you, Casey? Jamie, best villain.
I think Thanos. I'm a Thanos stan. I will stand on that. I think he. I don't know. He's the crux of the whole thing, and there are plenty of plot holes around it. Like why, if he's looking for all the Infinity Stones, did he give Loki a staff with an Infinity Stone? Like, why did he just give one away? Like that seems strange. Um, and like, why is he just sitting on this big planet, this big rock, this throne out in the middle of nowhere, and then finally decides, huh, I guess I'll go look for him. Like, isn't he a god? Hasn't When did he decide to start doing this? Why did he decide to start doing it just now? So throw all that away. Once you meet him in Infinity War and kind of go through that whole thing, and then obviously the cap of watching it all pan out through Endgame, um, I think I don't. It's hard to beat him. He's so good.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right answer too, Casey. Chad, like you, I also really love the Red Skull from the comic books. He's always great. I think my favorite villains have always been in the Spider-Man universe. But I'll just for the sake to be different, I do think she's great though. I'll go with Kate Blanchett as Hela in Ragnarok. I think she's really good, and
Yeah.
she has a pretty high body count too. So, not for not trying.
Yeah. Well, thanks for doing this, guys. This was kind of fun to kind of mash through and was very
Well, I
little
think
homework.
we need to revisit this. Well, for sure, we need to revisit this after you complete your saga,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
everybody else on this channel has watched Captain Marvel.
I need to watch Captain Marvel. I need to watch the Spider-Mans.
Should we
and
do it
then
like
I think I'm mostly caught
quarterly
up.
MCU update?
There we
If they
go.
keep putting out stuff, yeah.
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 Quarterly. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
with
there's
all
new
the TV
series come
content, I
out.
suppose.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna put that on my calendar
I
for
think
so what
after
is
the
it? March? Yeah. We'll do it
well, I'd say like do it in June, like, or July after the What If comes out, and I'm sure it'll re-energize us. Like, oh my god, so like, because I'm sure we'll think of other things like, what if this happened?
Oh, then we could come up with our best what if script.
Yeah.
That would be
There you
fun.
go.
There you go. That's easy. What if Animanium went into Hawkeye?
Womp womp. He might
And
miss.
What's stronger, Animanium or Vibranium?
Psych, it's none of those. It's unobtainium.
There it
From
is.
the core?
Unobtainium.
No,
Avatar?
from Avatar. Unobtainium's better.
Is that name
That's like-
intentionally like ironic? Like,
No,
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
the dumbest thing
un-
ever. It was the biggest stupid thing in a movie. Oh, this thing
It's
we
like-
had to fly all across the galaxy for. It's called unobtainium.
I can't wait for like James Cameron to like voice on Twitter being like, Magneto can control vibranium, but unobtainium, no, it's not that.
Suck it, James Cameron.
Before we go, I want to thank you for downloading this episode of Movie Time Machine, our conversation about the MCU. And let's see, maybe we'll do a quarterly MCU update. So stay tuned. Remember, new episodes drop on Fridays. Please send your questions, comments, and feedback to moviemachinepod@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter @moviemachinepod. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.